All right, welcome everyone. It's 5:30. We'll get started right away. I am recording the call, so if you do have to step away or you miss it or lose power, we've got it recorded. Tonight we're going to be talking about the best of 2018, the best subject lines and text messages, kind of give you a basics on what you should expect if you're going to be communicating and prospecting in 2019. Let me go ahead and get started here with the slides. I do have a slideshow we'll go through from beginning to end tonight. And if you have any questions or would like some information after I get done with the call, just go ahead and shoot me an email at rochelle@bestchoicerealtywa.com, and I'll be happy to respond with your questions. The next slide is really, we're going to keep it simple. Tonight we're going to go over the changing market and overall your communication or your tone and how to communicate well with maybe a letter or some sort of messaging. I'm already seeing some great messaging from other top producing agents in our company, and I've tried a few of the things myself, and so I know it works with how you communicate about the marketplace. So let's talk about that tonight. I want to talk about the top text messages and how to properly text message your clients. The top 5 maybe subject lines that are been tested with other bigger companies. If you're going to kind of put some thought around content, we'll discuss what are some good subject lines that have been tested. And then overall, if we have time, we'll talk about some strategies for advertising that may work for social media in our area. So we'll go through those few things, and that will pretty much cover us until 6 o'clock. Now this is the letter that, or the kind of the information, if you'd like me to send this to you, I'd be happy to. I know it's a lot of words here on the screen, but you can take some of this information, you can put it into a letter. I've done it in social media posts. I have in my discussions with sellers or with buyers, some of these things really, really resonate well with them. So in a letter format, you could write this to your database, your clients. I could put it on simply letterhead. I sent it out to approximately 50 people I know, and I've got a really, really good response rate. I got 2 listing appointments out of this letter. So, and that's only 50 people that I sent this to. Now, of course, I have a lot of connections, and I handpicked my list of 50 people, but I think a lot of this resonated well with them. So I said, I hope this letter finds you well. Because of a relationship and my appreciation of your, you could say, of your business or of our business that we've done together in the past, you can rework this. But basically the loyalty, I wanted to reach out to give you a brief market update. It is now clear that we are entering a shifting market cycle. We are seeing longer days on the market and a threat of interest rates rising in the next year or in this year. Despite all of this, it is still a very opportunistic market. There are tremendous opportunities for buyers, sellers, and investors where there is a strategic plan in place to find those windows of opportunity. If you do, by chance, have any plans to buy or sell any real estate in the United States over the next 12 to 18 months, we should talk soon. I would be happy to supply any help. As part of my ongoing service to you, I would be happy to do an up-to-date estimate of your home's current value, do research on any opportunity you are interested in, and if your interest lies outside of my service area, you could say that, I said my local market, I will connect you to a top agent in the area of your choice. We have over 325 brokers at Best Choice Realty. I would be happy to put you in contact with somebody in our office, or if it's not in the Puget Sound area and you're looking to be outside of the state of Washington, I have really good connections outside of the area as well. The other thing you could say is I would also like to offer you a free copy of my annual real estate planning guide. If you want me to send you the annual real estate planning guide, I have one that you could send. It's a PDF, very easy to do. It's a quality resource packed with helpful information and worksheets to plan your real estate future. People like things free. I do know this. That's why Zillow was built, because they liked free information. So allow them to have information, and you be the one to provide that information. Don't rely on these websites to provide those real estate information that they are looking for. To request a free copy of this guide or this book, please feel free to text me at the number below. I will also be reaching out to you by phone to see what questions you may have. Again, setting you up for that next phone call. So that's kind of the messaging that I would use if you were going to contact your database, maybe have some sort of information that's relevant to them in the coming month or two. I think that would be very relevant to send some sort of message, very professional, out to your database. It could be to your clients. It could be to people maybe you've only had a couple conversations with. I think it's very well worded and rounded for many various opportunities you might encounter. Now, if I move into text, one of the recent studies that I have conducted with another company is trying to find out from consumers what they like to have the real estate agent, if they want more communication from the real estate agent by text. And what we're seeing is that as you would have probably guessed, that 64% of the people who we surveyed said they would like more text from their real estate broker. So I thought it's very relevant for me to talk about this tonight. You want to do yourself a favor and maybe take a few notes, because many of you are doing text messaging improperly or have a chance of actually having more problems maybe with your clients in the future or with the agents that you're working with. I've made some mistakes, and if I'm making mistakes when it comes to text messages, you guys are probably making mistakes as well. I will share with you a few of my mistakes tonight. Here, and I do have some samples, so you guys can kind of see some samples. So if you're with a client, you want to keep it really short and sweet. So if you're with another client and then you have another text message, you really want to make sure that you text back as quickly as possible. People want a quick text. If you don't respond to a text message within that same day or within that hour, they're expecting a faster response. So you do want to maybe have a autoresponder text message so that when you're in an appointment, you could quickly have your autoresponder go, and you could say hi and then their name, or you say, I'm with a client. May I reach you at this number in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Set the expectation. I have not done this even with you guys, and I think you get frustrated and then you start calling around and trying to figure out who you can get in touch with. So do it yourself a favor and set up an autoresponder maybe with some sort of quick response that you could send out when you are in an appointment with another client. If you're being stood up, there have been some agents in our office who have gone on appointments and for whatever reason they were stood up. You could say, hi, Debbie, hi, Bob, I'm at the house or at the office. Are we still on for 3:30? Again, short and sweet. Some of you are sending way too long text messages to your clients, and it doesn't come across right. Again, it should be very short and sweet. If you're running late, you should also send, hi, Debbie, apologies. I'm running 5 minutes later. I'm running 10 minutes late. Can we still meet? Again, that gives them an opportunity to know that you're on top of your game, that you are, especially with the snow out right now, I would say that there's a lot of that going on right now. Don't get into, explaining what's going on. My car is in the ditch. All of that fun stuff. They just say apologies. I'm running 10 minutes late. I'm running 30 minutes late. Can we still meet? I think that was much more professional than giving this long-winded explanation in a text format. If you can't make the appointment, again, apologies, I need to reschedule. Are you free tomorrow? Again, you shouldn't be sending this like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before your appointment. If you have some, issues with, the weather or things like that, I think people are more apt to, accommodate, especially with the winter conditions. So you can say winter conditions, I need to reschedule. Are you free tomorrow? Are you free on Wednesday? Would be the appropriate thing to do. If you've got news to share with your clients, you want to, use their name. Hi, Debbie. I got the buyer's response. Maybe it's on inspection you're negotiating. I don't want you guys negotiating via text. I'm seeing too much of that going on right now. I'd rather see you have those phone conversations where you can really explain what the news is about and I'd rather have you do it even if you could in person or on a webinar. I was on the phone with speakerphone with a husband and a wife, and if I did all that by a text message, the inspection response would have looked like a laundry list of things. I was able to verbalize with them the pros and the cons of what we were asking for and to negotiate with my buyer, my seller, in such a way that made a lot more sense. If I would have just done it all by text, it would have got lost in translation. So that's an example of, if you've got news to share with them, even positive or negative, you really need to call them. Use text message to get that appointment or get that time when it's good for them to talk about the news. If you need an immediate decision, sometimes we're up against the clock as real estate brokers and you need to get an immediate. You could say something like this: "Hi, Debbie, I've got the seller's response and I think we should strike, or I think we should talk. Are you free to talk soon? Are you free to talk after 5? That's what you want to do when you're talking about text message. You really should not be negotiating via text message. If you happen to be negotiating, your client's texting you everything about the transaction or about the inspection repairs, or you have a lot of text messages between you and the other agent or you and the client, you really need to start saving those text messages. If there's complaints after the file closes and we have those text messages and we have copies of those text messages, sometimes that's helping our agents overcome some challenges after closing. So be sure, if you have a lot, you're saving your text message thread before you close out the file. You can even send those to the file once you're, right before closing, and then that way we can save those text messages in the file. But again, I'm seeing too much negotiation going on via text. And although I can respect that clients are wanting more text from their real estate broker, I think that can be misunderstood by thinking that we have to text them all the negotiation. No, in fact, what they're wanting is they're wanting more communication with their agents where, "Hey, can we talk? Can we do this? Can we talk about that? I'm in an appointment. Can we talk in a little bit?" Those types of text messages are what your clients are wanting to hear from you on. Some other samples for discussion would be text from your buyers. So when they say, "I'd like this home on XYZ street. When are you free to check this out?" So this would be a text message that I would get from a prospective buyer. I could say to the buyer, "Hi, Debbie, I'll be free in about an hour. Does that work for you?" Again, or "I'll be free this afternoon or this evening." Make it as quick or as same day as you possibly can. I know you guys are really busy and you've got other challenges and other commitments, but your clients want to know that you are going to respond quickly. So, make sure you have some sort of quick response that you can do. And again, it could be as simple as a sentence. The question from buyers: "Where are you?" "I'm on my way. Should be there in 10 minutes. Again, very quick responses that you need to do with text. Another text message that I get a lot of from clients that may not have a relationship with me would be, "How much is this house?" And you really want to say, and keep it really light and fun. "Hi, Debbie, glad you like this one. I have the list price. Can I call you?" If you just get back and forth with text messages, $349,000, you don't have the opportunity to really sell it, the benefits or about what the price range, whether that would work for them. If you just are texting back and forth, sometimes you're missing out on some of those opportunities. So maybe you want to add, change up your text message a little bit. If they ask you about a price or they ask you specifics about the house, again, another opportunity for you to possibly call them and have a conversation about the property so you can tell them about the features and the benefits of that property along with the price. A text from the sellers. If you get a seller that texts you, "Can you give me an update on selling my house?" I've seen some agents by text message, long text messages, and I think, what a missed opportunity when you also could set up a time for you to meet with them in person or collect the information that you need to be able to do a very solid listing appointment with that potential seller. I will be able to go out and get that appointment where you may struggle, or you may have several text messages and have a seller that's unrealistic or that may not understand how we work. If you set it up right and you prepare well for the listing appointment, you'll have a much better success rate at getting the listing priced right, marketed right, and sold for the top dollar. So when you get a text message from the seller that says, "Can you give me an update on selling my house?" and you say, yes, there's this website you should check out, and then I would like to, get some more information about your house, and you have this long-winded text message, I think you're going to kind of shoot yourself in the foot. So answer them back and say, hi, Debbie, I'd love to catch up with you. Are you free to talk in the next 5 minutes? Or are you free to talk this evening? Again, find an opportunity for you to talk on the phone. Other text messages I've seen from sellers, I'm not happy with this offer. Can we talk about countering it? Or can we discuss this? And then you want to say, definitely, let me get the file and I'll call you back in 5 minutes, or I'll call you back in the afternoon after 2. Whatever it may be, set the expectation of when they can expect to hear from you, and then honor that expectation. This offer is too good to pass up. You hope that your sellers say that. Can I call you and accept it right now? And it's just, sometimes sellers don't know all of the ins and outs about the offers that come in on their property. And there is some opportunity with proper education where they may want to hang on, or they may want to adjust it or counter it. It may appear that it's a good price. However, there may be a contingency, or there may be financing that you're still needing to contact the lender on. You maybe have some issues with how long the inspection contingency is, or how the agent is communicating with you. That type of information is very relevant to a seller who's trying to make a decision on what offer to accept on their house or their property. So when they text you and say, let's get this accepted, let's make sure it's as good as it sounds. Again, you're very cautious. You're, again, representing the seller in the best light. Can we talk after 2 p.m.? Can I call you in 5 minutes? Can we discuss it on the phone? Can we set up a time to meet in person? Again, it really depends on how your client wants to be communicated with. But again, you should not be text messaging, yes, it has a 22A and it has a 22D, and they don't know how to do real estate. They're wanting much more professional advice. However, they're wanting you to respond quickly to the text message. Texting etiquette. So I'm sorry about the little red lines here on this. But just some texting etiquette, and I kind of referred to some of this, but don't use text messages for every communication. A phone call is often a better choice. I've had to get involved in approximately 5 to 10 exchanges between real estate agents in the last 24 hours. And all of that has been because they've been texting each other rather than just picking up the phone and having a conversation about the situation. Maybe the inspection needed to be rescheduled. Maybe we needed to get some more initials on paperwork. Again, the text message back and forth does not convey the type of working relationship that we want to have with other brokerage firms. So it may be helpful, for you to text the other agent, hey, can I call you in 5 minutes? Can I talk with you about this afternoon? Rather than texting back and forth. Sometimes the text messages are getting construed as inappropriate, unprofessional, not willing to work with each other. Again, it goes both ways. So I've seen it from both sides of the equation as I've been able to get involved. What I've been able to do with those 5 to 10 issues that I've been dealing with in the last 24 to 40 hours is I've had to contact the designated broker, the managing broker, and we had a conversation and really came to some common ground and been able to overcome the text message war, as I would call it. Keep your text short, but avoid the one-word responses. So again, try to keep them short. I don't want long-winded text messages if you can avoid it. Be sure to correct any typos before you send your text. Avoid using too many abbreviations for the sake of speed, LOL, LMK, oh, on my way. I realize that those are fun and emoticons are really fun. But again, when you're texting for business, it might be better to just eliminate some of those abbreviations. And if you're texting someone for the first time, you should use their name in the text message. So, hi, Debbie. I did that on all of my samples in the prior slides. The other thing is don't text bad news. So, for example, if you're outbid, you didn't get it, that really requires a phone call to your client or the seller. You do want to have a conversation. Avoid texting anything confidential, proprietary, private, or embarrassing. That is a no-no. And here's what I made a mistake of doing last night to one of our contractors. I did not check the address. I copied and pasted really quickly, and then the contractor went out to the wrong house today. So you do need to check any addresses that you send via text message before you hit the send button. Just make sure you have the correct address. That could have been a really embarrassing situation. Luckily, we were able to overcome it, but that was just simply, I was copying and pasting, and I had it in my queue improperly, and it went out to the wrong person. Automatic texts are okay. Like, if you're with a client, like I said earlier, thanks for contacting me. I'm with a client and we'll return your message ASAP. That would be an awesome automatic text message. And that may be a good thing to follow up with after our call today to see if you can do that with your phone. Set that up. What you say really matters with how you say it. And when you're done with, I don't know, how many times have you really hung up the phone or you left an appointment and you started thinking about all the things you should have said instead of what you actually said? If you are having those types of reflections, you may want to think about how you're saying what you're saying. You may want to have some scripts that you practice, create a stronger connection with your clients. Maybe you want to rephrase some of the things that you're saying. Maybe you want to do a better job of nurturing your clients because the way you said it when you were in the appointment or when you were on the phone wasn't exactly the way you wanted it to come across. You may have to get creative or talk with other people that don't have the same personality as you to get another set of eyes on the situation. I did that early on in my career where I would, have a difficulty with a client. Maybe it was a very nitpicky client. They wanted all of these things. And I started asking another lady in our office how she handled situations like that. She was more of an analytic than I was at the time. And so I wanted to know what she said to her clients or how she negotiated with on the inspection when they had a laundry list of repairs. So I got creative and actually adjusted how I communicated with my clients based on how she handled her clients. So get creative. If you need to contact somebody else on the team or put it out there on our BCR Facebook group that you're looking for an alternative way of communicating. I think there's a lot of different ways of communicating certain things. And if you're struggling with something, there's probably somebody else that's encountered that as well. Let's get into the 5 different emails. This is were tested. We tested this last year along with another real estate company. I believe the company that we also tested this out with was Outbound Engine, if you're familiar with that company. And these were their top 5 newsletters that went out. So this might give you some ideas if you're creating newsletters for your clients or you're trying to create a message that gets opened. These were the actual subject lines that we used, and then we had to create content around it. So the subject line, seriously, I thought this was a unique one. This was our number 1. Seller did not hire an agent. That was the subject line. And then in the newsletter or in the message body, we had a nice little picture, and then here's why you should. And we talked about some reasons why they should hire a real estate agent. So this was educational, and this is something that went out with monthly newsletters out to thousands and thousands of people, and it was one of the highest ranked subject lines that got opened and actually looked at and responded to. So keep that in mind as we go through it. Seller didn't hire an agent. The next one, hang on a second, I watch my clock here. I'm getting close to the time. These will be the hot colors. This one was a really fun one that we used. These will be the hot colors. We actually had this image. What are the hot home colors of 2018? This was number 2 on the list. However, I saw some real estate brokers that were very creative, and I loved the creativity. And this was friends that I had in other states. And I think it would work well in Washington as well as we start to get into our spring selling season after the winter passes. They're wanting to know what the hot colors are. So you may want to take some pictures. You possibly have some photos from your past listings, maybe last year in the last 12 months, of some nice neutral grays that have been really good, and put it like a before and an after and send this out to your database. I think they'd open it up to see what the hot colors are. A lot of people, even if they're not looking for a home to buy or sell, they want to know that you are connected with the hot colors, how to paint, what color of paint, on the exterior as well as the interior. I could easily put together a before and after with clients that I know that have sold a home and they painted the exterior of their home, and that generated multiple offers. So I could see why this subject line got a lot of responses and a lot of looks. The third one that we saw get a lot of interest was moving ... 4 things to remember. This is one where you don't have to use, obviously, their image that Outbound Engine used, but you could tell a personal story. So this would be what I would use to send out a message to maybe my database. So maybe I start with a letter like I sent out, just kind of talking about the marketplace. And then maybe I have another email that starts with, with the other. This is number 3 that I would use in my sequence, but moving 4 things to remember. Tell a personal story about maybe a client in the past and what they did that made the process enjoyable, or something they didn't do that if they would have, with your guidance and help, would have saved them a lot of time or money. People are wanting to know that you're connected with the moving process and things to make them less stressed, especially if they're thinking about moving in the next 12 months. So this is a great one that will get a lot of opens and a lot of responses. Let's see, the last one I have that was also well received with the clients that we emailed. Again, thousands and thousands of clients across the nation received these emails. I also tested it with my database, and I also tested it with some other databases within our firm. How can contingencies protect you? So that would be the subject line. And then again, some content related around safeguarding their biggest investment. In this type of message, or what you want to really come across as being knowledgeable about, is security and professionalism, and how you treat your clients, or how you negotiate on their behalf, or what you did in your past transaction to help a buyer or a seller to meet contingencies or to protect them so that they didn't get screwed. Plain and simple, that's what I would cover in the email. In your own words, maybe with your own pictures, with your own images, but that subject line got a lot of responses. There are generic ones that have worked as well. If you're kind of running into writer's cramp, as they would call it, if you want to send me an email, I'll be happy to send you a list of all of the other subject lines that we tested that also got good response rates too. Again, you want to go away from free or discount or anything like that in the subject line. That is not getting responded. In fact, those are going to spam. Anything that sounds like spam is going to spam. So be careful on your generic ones. The ones that we tried worked really well. And really, if you have any questions about tonight's conference call, or you want to discuss what you should consider as far as how to communicate, we are going to be talking about that next week on how to really create a systematic follow-up plan so that you're following up with the appropriate strategy. So, I'll go over what I use for my database and how frequent I contact my closed clients, how frequent I prospect, what I say on the phone. I'll share with you guys what I do next week. But I know just with some of the simple things we talked about tonight, that should get you a few listing appointments.